Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear respected brothers and sisters, Jazakumullahu khairan for joining our webinar. Inshallah, today's session will be on regards to our movement from home to Saudi Arabia. This is our sessions on Hajj on the Move, which will be presented by Brother Harun. This is just the part one, inshallah. In the upcoming sessions, we will be having more sessions in regards to preparing yourself for this auspicious, for this great journey of your lifetime, which is Hajj. So, without further delay, I will pass it on to Brother Harun.
Jazakallah khair. So today, inshallah, we will be covering all aspects of you leaving your home, all the way till all aspects of arriving in Saudi to your final destinations. And we will pause over there till we go into our next parts. And at the end, inshallah, I will mention more what to expect in the next upcoming session. So, you can attend them accordingly, inshallah. So, before you leave from your home, these are steps that you will normally take anyways. Meet the family. Uh, this is the meeting the family just doesn't consist of just meeting your immediate family, at home, but also reach out to friends and relatives and clean the heart. As Sheikh Soban was covering the Hajj seminar in the past, and he mentioned that you need to go in with a clean heart. So if you have some sort of grudges going on or anything like that, talk to them, clean the heart. This is a very important aspect before leaving. So you go with a lighter heart when you get onto this travel. And of course, this is so important. Make dua to Allah for ease during your journey. With that in mind, this is something that many of us forget to do. We're doing this for the sake of Allah, so we must ask Allah that, Ya Allah, take us to this journey, this pilgrimage of Hajj, and bring us back with ease. So if there were any hardships that we were expecting, hopefully those hardships are taken care of by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's very important. Make this dua before you leave your home and start your travels. From there, before you even walk out of the door, make sure whether you're carrying a little pouch or whatever you're doing, something that you keep your documents in, make sure you have your passport. Passport will be the biggest necessity that you will need during this entire journey. And I have mentioned this in previous sessions as well too, that you need to protect that document with the current issues going on and the U.S. Consulate in Jeddah not having full employees over there, that they may not be available to actually make temporary passports if you lose them. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to keep reminding you on this point. So when every movement is happening, before that, I will advise, like what to do and where to do it. So that will come in the next sessions, inshallah. Some of you may not be traveling on US passport. Some of the Hujjaj that are watching this or joining us today are not traveling from the US. So whatever document pertains to you, if you need to return back home and you need that particular document, make sure you have it with you. Some of you may have a green card with the extension. Make sure you have the extension letter as well too. All these things will not be important while you're going there, but when you're coming back, you will need these necessary documents in order to return home. From there, you will also need a record of your required vaccines. In our case, it's meningitis vaccine. Make sure you have a record for this. This is a very important record. Every year, I get a fresh record from my PCP, from my personal doctor, to make sure that is up to date. And if it's not a valid vaccine, then I would take one with my PCP, and I will go ahead and get the new record for it. This is a necessity. You want to have this with you because you will need this during the journey, especially when you arrive in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This will be a very important document as soon as you land, and you will learn more about this as we're proceeding ahead. Make sure that you print your Hajj visa and also have a digital copy on your phone. And a very easy way to do this, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can send it to yourself on WhatsApp. you can email it to yourself so you have it in email record, and print a copy, print 2 copies, 3 copies. Also have copies of your passport as well too. So this way you can actually have a copy maybe in your luggage, in your hand carry, in a few different places. So this way, in case something goes wrong, you have those copies available with you. And same thing with the Hajj visa. In case you lose one copy, your phone dies, or anything like that happens, you want to make sure you have a record of that available somewhere. So try to get it on your email. Try to get it, have it on your phone. Maybe you have it on WhatsApp or some other whatever chatting that you use. Have it, just send it to yourself or send it to a family member. So this way they also have a record, and if you urgently need it and you can't find it, you can ask them to send it to you as well too. So having a record of your visa is a necessity. And just in case you lose your passports or other documents, have copies of those in different places. So when we are approaching the appropriate authorities like the US consulate or anything like that, even if they're short staffed, we have that information and we can find a better way to bring you back home, inshallah. Going now, it's time to actually leave your home and start making your way to the airport. I can't emphasize this point enough, that how important it is to plan so you are arriving 4 hours before to the airport, because you don't know how the traffic's gonna hit. You don't know, maybe you forgot something. Maybe you live an hour away from home and you forgot something at home. Now you need to, if you arrive to the airport 2 hours, hour before your flight, or at the end of check-in time, and you forget something, you will not be able to go and grab it, especially if it's an important document. Like maybe you forgot your passport, you had everything in a pouch and you forgot that pouch, you forgot some of your money at home or something like that. You want to make sure you plan ahead of time, so this way it's okay to arrive early at the airport. Get to the airport, go to the coffee shop, grab a coffee or something. If you have to go, get done with your check-in so you're relaxed at that time. It's very important to arrive early. And some of us, we may be arriving from different states. So this is not instructions for someone. Let's say, for example, like you're traveling from an hour away and you may be in a different state. Like maybe someone is going from New Jersey to New York to go to JFK Airport. I'm not telling you according to this, but I'm telling you it may be, you live in Los Angeles and you booked a flight from Washington D.C. For one of the packages. So it's recommended to travel one day before. These domestic flights, they can get canceled, they can get delayed. Don't leave these things on last moments. You have already spent thousands and thousands of dollars on this, and in some cases some of you may have even spent like the 15,000, 16,000, $17,000 on a Hajj trip. This is a journey of a lifetime. Don't take any chances in this. Go get there a night before, book a hotel, stay relaxed so you're nice and eased up before your travel rather than rushing anything. It's highly recommended. Arrive one day before with the domestic flight, if you have a separate flight for your international, and take that flight from there. This is if you're not in your hometown and you need to actually go to a different destination in order to take your flight, which will take you to Saudi for Hajj. So it's very important. This fact, like I cannot explain this enough. I've seen in so many cases where people they opt for, they're just looking for the cheapest possible option. Most of the time, if you go a day before, and you'll be able to find a domestic flight cheap enough, maybe even cheaper than the day of. So the day before, you'll spend a little bit of money, stay near the airport. You want to go sightseeing in the city, go ahead, Bismillah. But arriving there a day before will actually help you to make your flight the following day. Having these plans in place will ensure that you don't miss this flight that you need to actually go and take to Saudi, inshallah. So there are some things that you should have available and ready, especially when you're doing the airline check-in. Of course, have your passport. You don't need to necessarily show them the Hajj visa and meningitis unless they request you for it. These are your backup documents that you should have available with you to show if the airline staff request you for these documents. And sometimes they do request you to show you what visa you're traveling on. You can show them your Hajj visa. They will put it in the system. These days, they don't really ask for meningitis vaccine, but have it with you just in case. As we've mentioned in previous sessions as well too, back in the days, they won't even give you check-in without showing the meningitis record. So make sure to have these documents with you and available with you to show the airline staff. There is a separate set of rules for TSA, and there is separate set of rules for airline policies. So know these rules and regulations so you don't have any issues, or you don't have any essentials that are being left back at the airport. You want to pack what is allowed to be packed in the luggage to be packed in the luggage. You want to pack what is not allowed to be packed in the luggage and allowed in the hand carry or your book bag, that you have to keep it in person. Make sure you pack those things with you in your book bag or in your hand carry or your purse or whatever it may be. This is important because maybe you spend a lot of money on purchasing essentials and those essentials were not allowed in your hand carry. Now you have to leave them behind when you go through these checkposts. So it's very important that you plan ahead of time, and we will be mentioning some of these things as we're moving ahead, so you have the idea on the most important things, what will affect most of us. But you can always go and visit the airline packing policy, and they'll tell you exactly what you can pack in your luggage and exactly what you can't pack in your luggage and what you need to pack in your hand carry. And some airlines will have a policy you cannot pack this at all. This is also important to understand. There may be some things that you will not be able to take. They are illegal to enter into Saudi with those things. So you need to also understand the government regulations for the country of arrival as well. So moving ahead, so these are some key TSA rules. You cannot have more than 3.4 ounces of liquid with you on person in one bottle. And I'm not suggesting to do this, but if you're like, you know what, I need all my essentials in the backpack or in the hand carry, you can pack them in those travel. They actually sell these travel packs where you can fill up liquid sprays and different things, like and they're within that requirement of under 3.4 ounces. So maybe you want to keep some lotion, they'll have a little disposable lotion bottle that you can put it in from a big one. Or maybe you use some sort of shampoo that you want to keep it with you. You use some sort of it can be the conditioner, a body wash, whatever you're using. So keep this in mind. You can pack it like that, but I don't suggest to do it. It's easier on you. You don't want to keep your hand carries too heavy. If it's large bottles that you're carrying with you and you just want to carry this kind of set for the travel pack, have it with you empty. Use it when you go for the days of Hajj. It makes it easier for you. Have this stuff in the luggage so you're at a peace of mind too. You don't need to worry when you go through the TSA locations. Carry that water bottle, the insulated water bottle, so you can put cold water and utilize it during the entire journey. Utilize it to fill it up with Zamzam and drink it throughout the journey. So have that with you. You just need to empty it out if you have water in there, or if you have a coffee thermos or something like that. Just make sure you're following the rules and regulation. You can carry many of these things empty, but if they're filled, they will ask you to empty it out. So it's better to go prepared when you go through these checkpoints. So when you're passing through TSA, you want to make sure you're good to go on these. So, I'm sure no one's carrying knives, tools, and any of these things. But large liquids, they should be placed in the checked luggage. This is a necessity. And if you just Google real quick TSA, the travel requirements or whatever, you put it in there, the TSA website will pop. If you want, you can also use the website that we have mentioned right now in our presentation, and you can use this, and they have the whole checklist. Maybe you want to check for something very particular. You can do a quick search on their website and you can see whether it is allowed or whether it is not allowed. This is something that you want to look at beforehand rather than worrying about this later on and having to dump some of your things before you actually go through. And maybe these things may be very essential for you during your journey of Hajj. Medication, there is no limitation, meaning if the liquid bottle for medication is bigger, especially if it's prescribed, you're not going to have any problems. But when it comes to any other liquids, they will cause issues with you. And if it is medication, make sure it's on your name. This is not just for USA. This is also for arriving in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as well too. They may stop and ask you, what is this? As long as your name is on it, it matches with your passport, alhamdulillah, nothing to worry about. So these are some other key rules, and some of the things, like power bank. Most airlines will not allow you to have a power bank, anything battery operated, to go in your luggage. To be specific, lithium ion battery operated. So they will not allow you to have these devices. or any of these things within your checked luggage. And as we mentioned in our checklist seminar, power bank is a very important factor of it. And many of you, this is a long journey, 2 weeks. Many of you may actually have to keep your laptops, so maybe take care of some work during the journey. So make sure you're carrying that with you in hand. Get maybe a laptop bag or something. It's more comfortable to have it in a laptop bag than to actually have it in the hand carry, especially if you need to pull it out in an emergency. So make sure you are carrying power banks, laptops, anything lithium ion battery operated. Make sure you to have it with you in hand. In the past, I have seen cases where people have taken mobility scooters with them for Hajj, for Umrah, and you need to call the airline right away. You need to tell them, I need this because of this and this. And they don't usually cause you a big fuzz, but they will ask you the model number and stuff like that, and they can advise you better. And some of these are approved by the TSA, and it's okay. They check in the entire device, entire mobility scooter. But there are some cases with these electric wheelchairs and these different items that they will actually require you to take out the actual lithium ion battery and carry it with you on the aircraft, and the rest of the stuff goes through. So the main hardware will go through, but you will have to carry the battery. So make sure you plan ahead for these things. If this is something you cannot do, maybe this is not a good option to take with you. So planning ahead, and we have mentioned this many times, planning in advance is the key to having a successful and smooth Hajj. And many of you probably know all the things I'm mentioning today, but having a reminder for this is very important. There's also a limitation on how much cash you can carry with you departing from the US. Also keep in mind, this is not just cash. This also relates to any valuable metals and stuff like that. So it needs to be under equivalent of $10,000. And many people have this misconception that they cannot cross this amount without having problems. Only thing you need to do is you need to declare the amount. First of all, I don't think anyone should be carrying $10,000. Your breakfast and your dinner is covered throughout the trip in all the hotels. You also have 3 meals covered in Mashayat. Cards are accepted in most places. You should have at least $500 to $1,000 maybe as emergency cash maximum. And then we covered this in details in our checklist. You can go and watch that video as well too. And we go over at the end expected expenses. So you can tally up those expenses and you can actually have that. And plus add like $500 for emergencies. That should be more than enough cash for you. So this is something that you have to protect yourself as well too. Carrying this high amount of cash is not going to help you in any way. You're not going to have to spend this amount of cash over there while you're over there. So like utilize your card if you have to go for a large purchase. Try to do the spending on the card, especially if you need anything over 10,000. Keep it below this amount, and you will understand more of what I'm talking about as we move ahead, inshallah. Just all you have to do is just declare it. That's all you have to do, and you're good to go on this. There are some things to expect in the Hajj flight, and this is I do want to talk over here because not everyone is just taking Saudi airline and just arriving in Saudi. Many of you may also be taking connecting flights. Some of you may also be taking Etihad, Qatar, Emirates, Kuwait, whatever airline you're taking. It doesn't matter. But when a Hajj flight lands, there is something to understand. There are some things that will be unusual to you, especially if this is your first Hajj. This is something that is very unusual. You will see the airline staff on the plane, the air hostess, and maybe the lead. They will go around with the aerosol spray. It's a medicated spray, and they will spray that throughout the cabin. You will also see the vents also spraying some medication as well too. This is required by the Ministry of Hajj. There's nothing that we can do about it. There's nothing that you can do about it. This is required. This is rules and regulation by the Saudi authorities to actually they spray some sort of medication to protect you with some things that you may be getting in Saudi. So whatever it is, they do this, and you may feel some unease. So just prepare yourself. This happens usually within half an hour of landing. So this is something that being prepared mentally for this is better rather than just jumping like something like this happening on the aircraft. You're going to be thinking, what is going on? Because in a normal situation, you're taking a flight, you're like, what is going on? There's some random spray being sprayed. There's something coming out of the air vents too, So just mentally prepare yourself. Something like this will happen regardless of the flight that you actually take. And this will happen before landing. in most of the cases. You will be landing in one of these four international airports. Uh, Most of the Hujjaj that you will be landing, especially if you're taking Saudi airline and connecting, either you will be landing in Riyadh or Jeddah. If you're taking an alternative airline, either you're going, either you have a Medina first package, maybe you're landing into Medina. Some of you with Makkah first packages may be landing into Taif, and this can be vice versa as well too. Maybe you're taking domestic flight and leaving, but actual arrivals, Taif, Medina, Jeddah, these are main three airports that actually receive the pilgrims. But you may also be landing in Riyadh or Jeddah to actually connect ahead to Medina. Or you may be connecting from Riyadh to Jeddah as well too. So it's important to understand these are the four major gateways where most people are entering. If you're entering in with a international, with the other airline other than Saudi airline, or a Saudi carrier, you will be landing in either Taif, Medina, or Jeddah. And we will be going over both policies, whether you're coming in and taking domestic flight, or whether you are actually coming in directly to that final destination. So these are some things that you do want to clearly understand before you get there. And many of you already have your ticket, so you already know where you're getting, inshallah. So for immigration and customs in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, if this is the first gateway that you're landing in, whether it's Taif, whether it's Riyadh, whether it's Jeddah, whether it's Medina, as long as this is your first international sector, meaning a destination from outside of Saudi and actually getting into Saudi, your immigration will happen over there. And they have immigration in all four of the airports that I have mentioned. So that gateway will process your immigration on Hajj visa. And this is important to understand, because some people think they need to just go connect and maybe their immigration will happen in the following destination. So this is an important factor to understand. If you are connecting domestic flight, your immigration will still happen over there. If this is a final destination coming in internationally, your immigration will happen at one of the four gateways. Saudi also has a limit on cash. You cannot carry more than equivalent of 60,000 Saudi Riyal, which is approximately around $16,000. And I've mentioned this before. You do need to declare if you are carrying high amounts of cash. Worst case scenario will be that they will seize the money, and it's you have to go through the court system, just like in the US, to actually get that money back. You need to prove that you have legally acquired it. It's a whole headache. You don't want to deal with this to actually get your money seized either in the US or in Saudi. So make sure you are carrying. Best thing is carry below $10,000. But if you need to, for some reason, you need to carry a very high amount, keep this in mind. Please declare it so you don't have any issues when you arrive over there. So first, we're going to cover for pilgrims that are arriving directly into their final destination, being the international gateway that they're arriving in. What I mean, I'm going to give a quick example of this. Let's say you are taking a flight from JFK, New York, to Jeddah Airport. That's your final destination. So this applies to you. Maybe you're taking it from Washington, D.C. directly to Jeddah. Maybe you are taking it from Los Angeles directly to Jeddah. Maybe you're taking it from Montreal or wherever you're going from, even if it's a connecting flight, taking a flight from Doha to Jeddah or Medina. This will apply to you. And then after that, we will also cover the domestic portion as well too, inshallah. So this is for arriving with international flight to final destination in Saudi. After exiting the plane, follow signs for baggage collection and immigration. It's very clear-cut signs. Any airport you go to, they have signs, baggage collection and immigration, and they'll have another sign for connecting flight. Connecting flight at these airports are for international. They are not for domestic. Domestic, you do need to exit and you need to enter back. At this point, as you're proceeding ahead, you will be approached by Ministry of Health, and they will ask you to stop for your vaccine record. They will check that. In some cases, they also give you some polio drops. Just be prepared with these polio drops. I mean, I'm not complaining or anything, but it really messes up the taste in your mouth for hours. So, it's something that you have to be prepared for. So, Ministry of Health will stop you, and in some cases, they will also give you the polio drops as well too. Let them know. Most people going from the US, they're already vaccinated towards polio anyway. let them know you're vaccinated towards polio. But if they're forcing it, just take the drops and move ahead. You don't want to cause a scene or issues over there, because they are normally just giving it to all the hujjaj that are arriving. Uh, then you will go ahead and you reach the immigration. You will complete your immigration, and then you will go ahead and proceed to luggage collection. At that point, you will also run into some staff. You may run into some staff actually before you even cross immigration from Nuzuk or from Ministry of Hajj. At all airports in Saudi Arabia, when you cross immigration, there is a customs point where they will scan everything, whether you have a small pouch, whether you have a book bag, whether you have a string bag, whether you have a hand carry. So this is a custom points that is checking for everything that you are holding on in person with you. So it goes through the scanners, and they're suspicious about something, they will ask you to open it. There's nothing to worry about. You know what you're packing, what you have in your bags. Be ready to answer those questions. Usually, there's nothing to worry about. They're mostly looking for people trying to sneak in alcohol or cigarettes and stuff like that. So this is not something most of the hujjaj need to worry about. But if you are a smoker, we already mentioned from the medical seminar, try to quit if possible. But if you do and you are buying some from, duty free, make sure that you are not purchasing more than 2 cartons. They do not allow more than 2 cartons when you're arriving in Saudi. So they will check everything, and then from there you will proceed ahead. You can either approach one of the screens and see which carousel is assigned to you for collecting the luggage. You can ask the airport staff. Either one is fine. You go ahead and you proceed to your luggage collection. Once you have collected your luggage around that area, you will see Nuzuk staff. Nuzuk and Ministry of Hajj, by the way, it's the same department. And you may be approached by one of those two. And in some cases, you may also have the service provider. So, for example, like Itra Al Khair is a service provider. You may have their staff also available by the luggage carousel to assist. So Nuzuk is actually the department that will actually be handling all the logistical matters, what is going on in the field, what is happening over there. So they will be taking your data and guiding you and things like that. Ministry of Hajj staff that are there at the airport, they are usually there to answer some questions. They may also be running checks and balances over there. So all those things, they to understand what each person is doing. And it is the service provider staff, for example, Itra Al Khair staff. They are the ones, if you book the package with them, you will be going with them. They will be assigning you and guiding you ahead what to do next, where to take the transportation, which we will cover inshallah in our upcoming seminars as well too. But today let's focus on actually arriving. So this is you have to have that understanding, and you will see as the Nuzuk logo that you see on the website, you will have all the Nuzuk staff with that logo. Ministry of Hajj has their own logo. There's something written in Arabic on it, and you will see the difference. And they will also say Ministry of Hajj on their vest, and your service provider will also have the details, company details on their vest as well too. So in the case of Itra Al Khair, you will find their logo, you will find their Itra Al Khair name on it. So you are already familiar with your company logos that you booked the package with, and it's easy to approach the staff. Then you can go ahead and proceed to the exit. In your final customs check, this is like even arriving in the U.S. You go, you complete your immigration, entering into the country, you collect your luggage, and then you have another custom points. It's just like that in Saudi. They're not targeting everyone. They're gonna stop selected people, and they're gonna stop you, and they may ask you to put selected luggages through, or all of your luggages. Be ready. This is nothing to worry about. Just go prepared, and just be ready to actually to actually put your luggages and answer questions. I once took I once took a flight, and I had some rock salt, like Himalayan salt. There were some souvenirs made with that, and I was stopped by custom in Saudi, by the way, and they're like, what is this? I took it out, I showed it to them, I explained it to them. Be confident. When you are at any airport, if you're afraid, you're showing worry on your face, it's a red flag. They're gonna catch you on suspicion. They think you're carrying something illegal. Be confident. Tell them. If they say this is not allowed, tell them no problem. You can throw it away. I did not know. Simple as that. No need to argue with them. No need to get worried. We don't want to mess up our Hajj. If there's some item which is we will inshallah be able to guide you to actually get it through when you are in Saudi. Inshallah, we will try our best to guide you over there. But it's not worth having issues and getting arrested and having problems at the airport. If it's something they say, you explain it, they still don't understand, no issues, get rid of it. You don't want to have these problems while you are there at the airport. It's best to resolve these issues rather than continuing to force yourself into it. Moving ahead, inshallah. uh this is for most people who are taking Saudi airline. I don't think anybody has a ticket where they are connecting from a foreign airline to Saudi airline. If you are, it is one ticket. So keep that in mind. And I'm gonna talk about Riyadh Airport in a little bit more detail, so you have a better understanding of what to do over there. But I will do that in a later portion of the session, inshallah. So same procedure. You exit the plane, you follow signs for immigration and luggage collection. You are arriving in Saudi with the international flight in either Jeddah airport or Riyadh airport, and you are connecting ahead to Medina. Maybe you're landing in Riyadh, connecting ahead to Medina, or you're landing in Riyadh, connecting ahead to Jeddah. Regardless of what the matter is, you go ahead, you exit the plane, you proceed to immigration. You do need to clear your immigration in the first international destination that you arrive from. So same example, you are going from the whatever destinations you're coming from. Maybe you're going from JFK to Jeddah, then Jeddah to Medina. Maybe you're going from Washington DC to Riyadh, and then Riyadh to Medina, or maybe from Riyadh to Jeddah. Wherever you're going, regardless, you follow the same steps. Same thing. You will be approached by Ministry of Health. They will stop and ask you for your vaccine record. They may also give you some polio drops as well. So again, I cannot make this point enough. Have your record available with you. It's easier to have a paper copy. Put that in your passport. Staple it with your passport if you have to. This is what we used to do back in the days. And this is something that you just come. You pull your passport out. You will have that in person with you anyways. You show them the record, and you go ahead and you proceed ahead. You don't want to have those issues, especially if you have a short connection. You want to get through these things fast. Next thing you know, you're looking through your phone and you're not able to find your vaccine record. Now you're sitting there worried, and they just stopped you over there waiting for you to look for it, and you missed your domestic flight. You don't want to do that. Have that paper copy available with you. Have that record on your phone as well too, just in case you lose the paper copy. Do have a plan so you can mitigate every step of the way, so you are fully prepared. Same thing, go ahead, complete immigration, and proceed to domestic departures. So after the immigration checkpoint, like I said, you're following the same procedures. You will have a customs checkpoint. Everything is checked, regardless whether you're connecting ahead. Everything is checked. Your book bag, your hand carry, whatever you have with you on person is going to be checked, just like the final destination. So everything is checked over here. Then you will see luggage carousels over there. You just cross that and you proceed ahead and you go to exit. While you're exiting, you are going through a final customs point. If they feel like they need to check some of your hand carries, just put it through the scanners, have them check it again. It's no big deal. You don't need to get irritated by these small things. Let them check it again, no problem. You're taking a domestic connections ahead. You don't want to go there, and you don't want to have any issues. So same thing with all the airports, whether you're arriving in Jeddah connecting to Medina, whether you're arriving in Riyadh connecting to Medina, or arriving in Riyadh connecting to Jeddah. Procedure is pretty much the same. You will have to go through that final checkpoint. Then you make your way to domestic departures. You will have to go through security again. And this is something where if there isn't too much rush, you'll get through security in 10 minutes. If there's a lot of rush, maybe 20 to 30 minutes. So plan yourself ahead of time. Don't just roam around, especially if you have like 2 to 3 hours. You want to make sure you make it through and you go inside the domestic departure lounge. Check once you're inside, you go through security. Once you're inside, check the screens for the flight gate. This is something where in Saudi they don't announce the gate usually till sometimes an hour and a half before, 2 hours before. So don't be worried. Your boarding pass will not state what gate you are actually departing from. You need to check the screen. Ask employees where the gate is. If you cannot, if you are there in early, go grab a bite. maybe sit at a central point where it's easy to walk either ways, whatever gate you need to grab. So it's important that you just go and you relax a little bit and get to the gate 45 minutes before, so you get there, you board, and you're at ease of mind. uh, this is very important. And take your flight and arrive at your final destination. Now I'm going to go over a little bit over the airports to give you a better understanding. So what you see in front of you is actually it's a maps of Riyadh Airport. Uh, Saudi carriers, meaning if you're arriving with Saudi Airlines, you are arriving in either Terminal 1 or 2. And all domestic is with Saudi carriers, you only have Saudi carriers for the domestic. It's Terminal 3 and 4 for domestic. This is a walking distance. There is one thing that I do want to mention over here. So if you can see on my screen, these are your international terminals, and these are your domestic terminals. Previously, you would actually have to take a shuttle to actually make it to the domestic, but they have a switch around. And I'm mentioning this because if you're arriving through a international carrier, uh, you may be arriving in Terminal 5, and you may still need to, if you are, let's say, arriving with Qatar, for example, and you're grabbing a connecting flight with Saudi to get to Medina, you have a custom flight, and that's how it came up. You will have to change the terminal from Terminal 5 and coming to the domestic terminals on 3 and 4. So for arriving with Saudi Airline, it's a very simple process. Exit, you can walk from within the terminal. You can see the gates. Terminal 3, Terminal 4. These are your two domestic terminals. When you're checking in, the airline staff will let you know which terminal you're taking when you arrive in Riyadh Airport. And this is a walking distance. Going from one terminal to the next. This is about like a 4-minute walk. So just consider that. It's going to take you a few minutes to go between the terminals. And if it's wheelchair is something that you need, like this is something that, the wheelchair people, they will drop you off to the next destination. So plan ahead of time for all these things. You need a SIM card. There are SIM card locations. If you have a long enough layover, grab your SIM card. You need to exchange some money as well too. If you want to grab some food, grab some food. This is a good time to take care of all of that. But keep in mind, this itself, this is walking distance. Connecting for domestic flights in Jeddah Airport. Terminal 1 is pretty much used for both domestic and international for many of the airlines that are arriving in Saudi. Saudi Airline is also on Terminal 1. It's a huge terminal. And to give you a better understanding of Jeddah Airport. So Jeddah Airport is a bit more complicated than Riyadh Airport. Riyadh Airport, as we've seen, it's very simple. For most of you, it will be a simple procedure. So let me cover the simple one first, and then I'll go into a little bit more complication. So what you see over here in the lower right-hand corner, this is Jeddah Airport Terminal 1. So over here, we have Terminal 1. Most of the international flights, they're arriving on the upper portion of the terminal. This is all international. And what you see in the lower portion, this is all domestic. And immigration, customs, everything is happening at this point where I'm coloring green over here. Most of the US flights, direct US flights, they are using these two extreme corners, what I'm coloring right now. So you have this side or this side, because they have extra security points, and they're usually using the same aircrafts and same gates to actually do the departure back to the US. So they are using these extreme points. So you will be walking from here, arriving with your international, and somewhere around the middle point, whether you land on this side or this side, you do have to walk to this middle point. They have a train that takes you ahead and takes you to the main terminal side. If you are doing an international departure, they have a little counter over here, which does not apply to us. Of course, I'm just mentioning this. Don't get confused with the transfers. The transfers are only for international. So don't get confused by that. You will see on both sides as you're proceeding to the train. You will see the transfer desk over there. You don't need to approach them. You hop on the train, and you actually go ahead and you proceed to immigration. So you get off the train, you start walking towards immigration. Either you will enter in from the right side or the left side. Either ways, you have immigration counters, separated immigration counters, both on the right and left side. Wherever you see less rush, head towards that side. So you have the immigration counters. Once you go ahead, you will cross, and then as I mentioned, you have that custom point. Uh, you have that custom point. I see somebody saying they can't see anything. If you look at the screen in the presentation, I'm coloring there. You will see I'm actually doing the markings for it, and I will go over this again. Don't worry. I just want to do a basic coverage because I'm going to jump into some more things for Jeddah. I do need to open maps and show you in there. And for people final destination arriving in Jeddah, you have transportation areas over here, and I'll go in a little bit more details. You collect your luggage, you exit, you meet the staff will guide you. Most of the time when you're exiting, and if you've been to Jeddah airport before, there's a huge fish tank. If you have just hand carry, you just take the escalators and go down. But in most cases, you will need to take an elevator and go down, and they will guide you which side you need to go, whether the right side or the left side. And then from there, you can be guided through, inshallah, to what you need to do. But for the people that are taking domestic, as soon as you cross that immigration point and you go through that first custom point, you will see on the right and left, you can actually go straight to domestics from there. They have signs, and it's less rush and it's faster to actually go from there. I want to go ahead and actually share maps with everyone to go over a detailed coverage. Just bear with me 1 second as I pull up Jeddah airport. All right. So this is a more clear picture of Jeddah airport. And as I was mentioning, this corner and this corner is where most of the US flights, direct flights that come to Jeddah airport, this is where they land, they park, they depart. From there, you need to walk to the central location. They have a train over here, which you will take. And either ways, coming from here, coming from there, doesn't matter. You take that train, and the train stops around here, and you will exit, and you will proceed to immigration. Now, if you can see my mouse, you have those two immigration sections over here, and then you will proceed ahead, and everything just falls into place once you exit from the customs. If this is your final destination, you will see a huge fish tank, and you cannot miss it. That's the only place where you can exit. And then from there, you will have staff guiding you how to get downstairs to actually the departure areas where they actually park all the buses and stuff like that. So when you exit, they will be taking you either in an area around here on the ground floor in the basement, or an area around here. Usually for the B2C, it's on this side. And on this side, you will have normally like the B2B and rest of the Hajj project. So usually there's a little bit less rush for the B2C arrivals, and they usually use this side. But don't worry about that. This is another word, a key word that you need to remember is B2C, because they will ask you, where are you coming from? And what Hajj package program you're in. You can answer, I'm with so-and-so company with B2C. So your service provider name, B2C Hajj program. So they can guide you better because they have separate staff for the same company for both B2C and B2B, which is for some countries like Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and some African countries, they still use the old system. So you arrive in Jeddah, and I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this because it's important to understand the layout of Jeddah airport itself and how big it is. This is just one terminal that we covered. What you see over here, this is actually the train station. Some of you maybe just booked your train to go to Medina. Maybe you're arriving in Jeddah and your package starts in Medina. So keep that in mind. This is the train station. Maybe you're arriving with the airline that's coming to the North Terminal or the Hajj Terminal. I need you to understand this distance. This is not a small distance that you will be covering. Going from here, this is the Terminal 1, and this is North Terminal. Going from here to here can sometimes take more than an hour. Going from here to Hajj Terminal can take you sometimes hour and a half, 2 hours. So it's not easy to move from here to these two terminals or vice versa. It's very important that you know what terminal you're arriving in, especially if you plan to just book some train tickets on your own, because they may not let you exit from the Hajj terminal. The procedures in Hajj terminal are very strict, and very few airlines come there. So they will put you through the program and the group transportation and everything, and they will send you. Same thing with the North terminal. It's not easy to make it to Terminal 1. Don't waste your money. If you have chosen a custom flight that is arriving on Hajj terminal, you will not be able to make it for the train. They will put you on the transport and send you to your way. For the train, even for your departure flights, you can keep this in mind as well too. The train only goes to Terminal 1. You will need to get off and take a taxi to go to other terminals if you are trying to choose the train option to actually depart. So this is just a little bit of background on Jeddah Airport. Even if you have a connecting flight, it's a very tough gig to actually transfer from Hajj Terminal or North Terminal coming to Jeddah Terminal 1. So this is just to give you a picture. This is not a easy transport to travel in between Hajj Terminal, North Terminal, and Terminal 1. So please, please, please don't try to attempt the train if your flight is not landing on Terminal 1. And Terminal 1 handles all the Saudi airline flights. Terminal 1 handles Etihad, Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait. You have Royal Jordanian coming over. You have many of the flights, they come to Terminal 1. There is a 99% chance that everyone in this meeting will be taking Terminal 1. But double check on the airline. Like Egypt Air does not come on Terminal 1. Maybe you booked Egypt Air. So these are things that you want to look into so you can better prepare yourself, especially if you're planning to take the train. This is a very important factor. If you're planning to take the train, this is something that you need to understand. If you're arriving Terminal 1, maybe you can get by with this and book your train tickets. But if you're not, please avoid this. This is not something that will work with you. So let's get back to the presentation. All right. Let's move ahead. So this is a layout of Medina Airport. So Medina Airport, this is all the arrival gates in Medina Airport. So you will be exiting from any one of these gates. What I've seen with most of the domestic side, we end up coming out from here and then we have to walk. And this is arriving domestic. I'm talking very specifically arriving domestic. I will talk a little bit about international too, just in case this can guide someone if they are coming. This is like maybe Qatar and they're coming into Medina. So you will be walking. They have some travelators. You can use those and you walk ahead. And then when you arrive over here, you will see there's escalators going down. You take those escalators and they have about, I think, like 2 or 3 luggage carousels, and you can find yours with whichever flight you came in from, and then from there you can actually like grab your luggages, and you have the custom points here. Maybe you lost some luggages, they also have a lost luggage section over here. You exit, and then you will have staff from either Ministry of Hajj, Nuzuk, service provider staff. They will be assisting you to take you to your transportation. Some of you may be arriving internationally. Now there's actually 2 portions where you can arrive internationally. They have one right in the middle where most of the people will be arriving, and then they have one over here which they call the Hajj terminal. Irrelevant of which side you arrive on, or any of the 3 sides, so the domestic side, international side, Hajj terminal, it doesn't matter which side you arrive. You may be assigned, we don't know which parking lots they will assign for this. Either it will be this one or it will be this one. It can be either one or they may be using both. This is not something that we have prior information about, but it will be one of these 2 parking lots where they will put you in a bus and they will move you. So this is just for reference, inshallah. As we continue ahead, inshallah, in our next sessions, we will be also talking about this in more details. So you're arriving international. There are some things, maybe you want to exchange some money. So as soon as you get out of the domestic, there's a pharmacy over there, there is a bank, there's a couple of banks that can exchange your money, so you can take care of that over there. Then they have some SIM card providers on this side. You can also do that near Haram as well too, but usually the crowds are much higher. If you see too much crowd over here, it's going to be the same crowd near Haram. Rather than holding up the bus or the transport, is better to go get settled in before you go looking for a SIM. So just keep this in mind. Medina Airport, it's also a very simple airport. It's the same terminal for everything, and what to expect: domestic on one end, with a couple of you have some of those luggage carousels. Then you have the international. Unfortunately, I haven't used the Hajj one, but I have been in there for departures, not for arrivals. So I don't have the best of ideas, but they do have internal routes because they do have some bus sites over here as well too, which won't apply to us. This is for very specific groups. But when you arrive in Medina Airport, it's a little bit different than in international arriving in Jeddah Airport or Riyadh Airport. You have all your luggage is actually scanned when you exit immigration. So you follow the same procedure, customs, and then you collect your luggage, and they scan every single luggage when you're exiting. So just keep that in mind. And then from there, you just proceed ahead as we mentioned. You will have staff, they already have your information, whatever ticket you booked through the Nuzuk Hajj platform. That information is already with the service provider, and they will be able to utilize that to assign their staff to receive you and everything. So the system is organized. This is not much to actually worry about. I want to actually go back to Jeddah airport because I missed one small detail. So when you collect your luggage, please do not exit. Double check everything, whether the luggage tags match and everything like that before you exit the terminal. You have lost luggage department as before you exit from customs. So you can actually go and file a report. That's for any airport, by the way. It doesn't matter which airport your final destination is, whether it's Taif, Jeddah, Medina. Please, if you lose your luggage, check everything, because if you take someone else's luggage, there's a high chance that they may not take your luggage, and they are out with the luggage and you are out with the luggage too. So please double check the tags. They have your last name on it. Match it with the slips that they give you when you check in, those luggage tags that they give you. So to match with that, make sure everything is matching before you take them, because the last names can be the same for some people too. But the luggage tag numbers that they have, that's not going to be the same. So double check everything. Make sure you are taking your own luggage, and if you don't have your luggage, it's missing, file a complaint. Find out. There's plenty of staff at the airport. You don't need to memorize where these things are. Tell them, please let me know where the lost luggage department is, and they will guide you according to the airline. And you get there and you file a complaint. We, as guides or as service provider, will not be able to assist you. Doesn't matter who you're going with. You can't just be like, oh, I lost my luggage, and the first thing you're going to be asked is, do you have a claim number for it? So we can actually work with the airline to actually see what's going on or get an update, and we can put the airport ITRA staff or service provider staff to actually look into this matter. But if you have nothing, we have nothing to go on. It's impossible to find it. So it's very important that you actually file a complaint and you provide the details to one of the ITRA staff, service provider staff available in the hotel when you get there, so they can follow up with this and you can follow up back with them as well. This is a very important factor. I didn't include a picture of Taif Airport because this is just one small terminal, a few check-in counters and stuff like that. It's nothing to worry about. It's so small you cannot even get lost even if you tried. So I'm gonna skip over Taif Airport, and I'm gonna proceed ahead now to what do you do ahead. So you proceed to luggage collection, check the screen. So this is when you're arriving in your final destination, whether it's Medina, Jeddah, Taif, wherever the domestic arrival is. Check the screens, ask airport staff for assigned carousel, collect your luggage. And of course, you may run into Nuzuk staff, Ministry of Hajj staff, service provider staff. And then from there, you will be proceeding to the exit. Even though you're arriving domestic, they still have custom officers over there, because a lot of international flight luggages, they get transferred over onto domestic, so they can stop you. It is a possibility. They may want to check one or two luggages. Please, like I said, don't argue with them. Continue to proceed, show them whatever you need to show, and then go ahead. And as I mentioned, if you lose a luggage at this final destination, please make sure to file a complaint with the lost and found luggage department before you exit. Doesn't matter what airport you're on, make sure to take care of this. We will not be able to assist you unless you have this number. We will not be able to go and say, so and so lost their luggage. There's no way we can do that. We need to have some sort of proof, and show a document number in order to assist in this. So with that, inshallah, this is my last slide. And before I get started with the Q&A, there's something that I want to mention. We covered a lot of information already in our checklist in order to how to pack. So in many of these presentations, we will be referencing to that. We covered policies for the airline luggages, a lot of things, because I was seeing the questions as I was doing it. It's important that you go watch those sessions, because honestly, with the experience I have with Umrah throughout the year, nobody watches the seminars, and the questions I'm getting is exactly the information that we already covered. And I'm not going to jump ahead of myself today, because inshallah, in our next upcoming sessions, we are covering specifically Medina first arrivals. And then the session after that will be specifically Makkah first arrival. So this is for people, let's say you booked a package for Medina first, you should attend that session. If you booked a package for Medina first, you should attend that session. If you booked the package for Makkah first, that's the session you should be attending. And if you still haven't booked a package, attend both sessions. Information is all valid. And then later on, we will be covering those details. Like we have these sessions going in a flow. So we jump from this home to Saudi. Then from here, we jump to Medina first arrivals, part 2. Makkah first arrivals is part 3. And then we jump into settling into the rooms and the ground support and staff and what you need over there, understanding what everyone is doing. Then we will jump into specifically for Medina, everything you need to know, like logistically, and then we will jump into the Umrah. Then we will jump into the days of Hajj. So this is all too detailed, and I humbly request everyone to keep your questions related completely to the topic we are talking about over here. Because if I see questions related to something that we have already covered or we will cover in the future, I will mention it directly with that, and I will give you the reference for it, so you can inshallah go and watch through it as well too. So first question is how many luggage we are allowed to carry and how many pounds. This will be as per your ticket. We have covered this in the checklist. You do need to find out. We covered this in detail for Saudi Airline in the checklist seminar. Highly suggested to go check it out. But generally, it's 2 luggages for most of the airlines. But if you booked a custom flight, you do need to check with the airline. Are you going to be there, inshallah, Brother Harun, with us? Inshallah, I will be there. But usually I arrive before all the Hujjaj arrive, and usually I'm in Makkah. I'm heavily involved in the whole procedures in Makkah. So inshallah, I am looking forward to meeting everyone, especially during the days of Mashahid. When you're moving between the Mashahid sites, inshallah, you will see me out there, assisting them with other Hujjaj from other places as well too. Then we have a question. If I go to Riyadh first, when do I wear the ihram? So this we will be covering tomorrow, inshallah. Like I said, I don't want anyone jumping ahead of themselves. I don't want to jump ahead of myself either. So in the Makkah first arrivals, we will be covering this in details for where to wear the ihram. And however you're arriving, we're going to cover that in details, inshallah. And recordings for all of our sessions are available. You will be able to watch them. All right, I see. Please share your screen. I'm not sure. I think my screen was shared the entire time. What happens if I arrive in Jeddah airport, but I'm starting with Medina first? So this is something that I will be covering tomorrow as well too. Arriving in Jeddah and you're actually starting in Medina first. We're going to be going in details for all Medina first packages, meaning that if you're going in a Medina first package, what to expect, what steps they are, how long the travel they are, I will jump into those details tomorrow, inshallah. I'm traveling with Saudi Airlines from JFK to Medina. My question is, all the travelers, is that flight will be Hajj? So it's not like the old system where they had very particular flights that were considered Hajj flights, but pretty much all inbound flights into Saudi, they're pretty much Hajj flights. And normally they, like all these flights, the system has changed a lot. Nobody really calls them Hajj flights anymore. You get in a normal flight, you may have non-Hajj passengers on your flight as well too. Right? How many luggages are we allowed to carry, and how many pounds? This is a question that previously happened. Please check out the checklist seminar that we have already conducted. It will really help you. What is the suggestion to choose Terminal 1 for flight? Most airlines, they go to Terminal 1. This is not a big issue. All the major airlines, you have Qatar, Emirates, Etihad, Kuwait, you have Oman, Saudi Airline. Pretty much all the major airlines are going there. Very few airlines actually go to North Terminal and into one of the main airlines that actually people take from Saudi that actually does not go to Terminal 1 is Egypt Air. Other than that, I don't think any airline from here that is going that people are frequently taking that is actually not going to Terminal 1. My flight goes to Riyadh. Please describe Riyadh to Jeddah. When should I be in Ihram? We will be talking about this in detail because we're gonna move back a little bit to talk specifically about Makkah first packages, and we will move back a little bit to talk specifically about Medina first packages, inshallah. So tomorrow's session we will be covering this. Can anyone choose to take plane from Jeddah to Medina if one's first arrival is at Medina? In ITRA 11, do we have time to book plane from Jeddah to Medina now? If you If you are going into this, like I said, that's why I mentioned train. Train is usually a better option, but you are limited to your luggages. You are more than welcome to book a flight. Just inform your group leader so they know when to expect you. Your room keys are not ready till a particular time, and your group leaders do need to be there. And we'll jump into more details. But for someone that is trying to book this ticket, I want to mention the situation because the tickets, they do start getting expensive. Make sure you see your arrival time. Give yourself at least 4 hours for the next departure for the domestic flight to Medina. So, as long as usually people get delayed in immigration, this is a very good question. I have seen it where you have a short connection, just 2 hours, and I've seen people miss their flights, and I've seen people make their flights with just a 1.5 hour connection too. So, all cases are there. It's always better to have more than 2 hour layover, 3 hour layover. Immigration can sometimes take a very long time. So, especially Hajj immigration, it is a little bit different. They are processing, like if you go on tourist visa, all they do is they take one fingerprint, but for Hajj they will take all your fingerprints. So this is actually another detail that I actually forgot to mention. When you are doing your immigration, please make sure to give them your Hajj visa. If you traveled on tourist visa recently to Saudi, it's possible they may be doing your entry into tourist visa because it's faster and easier for them. You want to be officially admitted into the country, into Saudi Arabia, with your Hajj visa. So this is actually an important question that actually reminded me of that. So minimum 2 hours is the answer to this question. How much time do we have after we get luggage before the bus leaves to Medina? How long will the bus trip be? Where do we get our Hajj badge? So this question also relates to a lot of the stuff that we will be covering tomorrow, inshallah. Even if the bus leaves without you, it's irrelevant. The service provider is responsible to transport you from your arrival destination to the start of your package destination. So whether it's going from Jeddah to Medina, even if the bus leaves, they're responsible for transporting you. This is not something that I would worry too much about. Be relaxed when it comes to this matter. I have seen it where one or two people are left and they arrange the transportation and send them. Have tried to keep with the group, of course, but this is not something that is too much of a worry. And for your Hajj badge, we have not gotten too much final confirmation on this. I'm going to be having a conversation with our service provider, and inshallah, in the next upcoming sessions, hopefully, I can get that accurate information and provide it to you, inshallah. Are all people going with me from JFK to Medina will be Haji? I'm going to Saudi. So majority of the people that will be with you will be Haji, but there will be normal passengers too. These flights, they can have any and every passenger on it. So for state of ihram, this is something where you make the niyyah. Inshallah, I'm gonna dive into this tomorrow a little bit, where to make the niyyah and the state of ihram and everything. So I will talk about this tomorrow. I want this all to fall in sequence and to have a better understanding. For today's session, I want you to be at a clear mind on what you need to do when you're leaving home, when you need to arrive at the airport, if you have to take a domestic flight that you're taking on your own. When should you arrive to the next destination in order to make it for your flight? How long before you need to get to the airport? What do you need to do at the airport? TSA regulations, packing, and then I want you to also focus on, like what you're carrying with you. Like the amount of money and all this kind of stuff. What to expect when you arrive in Saudi, immigration, and all these kind of things. So today's focus is on that, inshallah, and tomorrow I will touch up on this. And if you're not able to attend tomorrow, then inshallah we will have a recording available. And I do want to apologize right now. I wasn't able to schedule tomorrow because we had conversations about sales going on Saturday morning. It's actually happening on Sunday morning now. So we will proceed as normal with our tomorrow sessions. I'm going to send the invites to everyone after we're done with this meeting. And also we will have sessions on Saturday for training and then preparation if someone is still joined in over here who has not purchased their package. Can you use a different passport from USA while you have a US passport? If you have your Hajj visa on that particular passport, you can use that, but entering back into the country may be problematic. I highly suggest to travel, do your check-in, do your immigration with U.S. passport, and maybe if you want to enter into Saudi or a different country after you travel ahead, you can do that. But I don't suggest to go with that option. It's always a good idea to reach out to a lawyer too, to answer these immigration questions as well too. 'Cause many people are dual citizens too, and I'm not exactly aware of what problems it can cause, but it's always recommended to travel on your U.S. passport out and into the U.S. If I see arrival in Saudi, either Jeddah, Medina, Riyadh. Any suggestion on arrival in Saudi, either Jeddah or Medina, Riyadh? If you're choosing custom flights, arrive in the destination that you are starting in. Excuse me. So, for example, if you're starting in Medina, arrive in Medina Airport. If you're starting in Makkah, arrive in Jeddah Airport. Taif is an option too, but avoid it. It gets a little complicated. Not too many people travel in and out. Can I change my first leg from Jeddah to Doha to Medina? Doha instead of our last few days are in Medina. Brother, this is something that you need to reach out to Qatar Airlines directly. They may be able to assist you with this, inshallah. When we'll meet our group leader. In some cases, they may be on the flight with you, and in some cases, you will meet them in Saudi. They may be arriving early before the group because some of the flights they're set up in a way where you actually miss one day. So those group leaders may be required to travel a day or two early in order to receive the group people who are actually arriving before. Thank you. May Allah reward you. Inshallah, I'm hoping today's session, even though it was a lot of information today, where many of you may already know, but being prepared and the steps to take is very important. You don't want to have any hurdles. Having this Hajj go as smoothly as possible is the number one goal, and we cannot do that without being prepared. So many of our sessions that you will be attending, maybe they may feel repetitive. Maybe they may feel like, why are we presenting this information? Like today's session, most groups that I've seen that are doing the sessions in the past, it's like they do it a couple of hours and they prepare you for everything, including the sessions that have already done. So please, 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 I humbly request everyone watch the previous sessions we have already done. And if you are getting involved with the sessions we're doing, these are going in order. So think of this as like a show, like you're in episode 1 right now. Tomorrow we will be doing episode 2, actually arriving there, what's going to happen next. Think of this as a suspense, like what we're going to be covering tomorrow. So we're going to be going step by step, step by step, step by step, to fully prepare you with everything, leaving from home all the way to coming back to your home. We want to make sure you go through this virtually through everything and have at least a basic understanding of everything. So inshallah, if there are no further questions, uh, we can end the meeting over here, inshallah. And Jazakallah khair, everyone, for joining in today. And I look forward to doing tomorrow's session as well, too. Inshallah, tomorrow we have 2 sessions, and they're not as long as today's. It will be a little bit shorter. So, inshallah, we'll be seeing everyone in tomorrow's session. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.